I saw the message while the elevator doors were closing. A single line from my family group chat lit up the dark screen. Dinner starts at 7 o'clock. Don't be late. Under it was a photo every seat filled. Except mine. No one had told me they'd moved Christmas without me. By the time I reached my apartment, another notification appeared. A bill of $25,000 for Serena's car. No greeting. No explanation. Just a demand. I set my keys down, the silence tightening around me. They hadn't invited me home, but somehow they still expected me to pay. I grew up in a house where silence carried more weight than words. My father, Grant Rowan, spoke in short commands, never explanations. My mother, Elise, softened every edge he created, but never stepped between us. And my younger sister, Serena, lived in the spotlight he always held up for her, even as kids. She wore it easily. One winter afternoon, when I was 11, I dragged an old computer tower from the garage onto the kitchen table. Dust lifted into the sunlight. I didn't know what I was doing. I only knew it felt like something that belonged to me. I opened it and studied the parts like a language I could learn. Grant walked in, coat still on. He didn't ask what I was doing. He barely looked. Waste of time, he said. Do something real. Behind him, Serena slid into a chair, swinging her legs. Dad, look what I made, she said, holding up a drawing of a horse wearing a crown. Grant smiled. That's talent. His voice never sounded like that with me. I closed the computer quietly and carried it back to the garage. Something shifted that day. A quiet understanding settled under my ribs. I wasn't the one he wanted to see succeed. At 16, Serena got a used car for her birthday. I got a handshake and a reminder to be responsible. 2 months later, she scraped the passenger side. Grant blamed me for not teaching her to park. I had never even been in the car. Serena apologized once, softly, but in front of him. She let the story bend toward my fault. It was easier that way. In high school, my achievements were quietly stored away. Serena's trophies filled the hallway. I learned to live in the space between applause. In college, when I got into a cybersecurity program, Grant sighed, so you're still chasing that, as if ambition itself was a mistake. Serena's updates were different celebrations, praise, approval. Always forwarded like weather reports. I wasn't part of that, so when they didn't invite me to Christmas, I wasn't surprised. The pattern was older than the holiday, but I didn't plan to stay inside it forever. The bill arrived an hour after the Christmas. Photo, $25,000. Handle, this be for the end of the month. No greeting. No question. Just expectation. Serena texted, just take care of it. Dad's stressed. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. I set my phone down. Outside, snow drifted past the balcony. Inside, everything felt as still. They had cut me out but still expected me to step back in when needed. I opened the group chat again. My seat, empty. My name, missing. Something inside me shifted. Not anger. Something clear. I opened my laptop. Financial dashboards lit up the room. Years of work they never asked about. Never cared to see. My cursor hovered over the loan details. My name wasn't on the car loan. Of course it wasn't. Serena's name. Grant's name, but they had still assigned me the responsibility. I wrote in a notebook, car loan, $25,000 ownership. Serena plus Grant pattern. Contribution expected. Presents optional. Than Christmas. Exclude not as sent. After dinner began. The words didn't sting. They clarified. I opened a folder of documents, agreements, revenue summaries, valuations. Everything I had built alone. I didn't need revenge. I needed distance. I called the bank. I need to report a vehicle for repossession. I said. There was a pause. When asked my relation, I answered simply, I'm not responsible. But they've mistaken me for someone who will fix it. Later, I sent an email to Grant, Elise, Serena. Subject, Carloni won't be covering the bill. This isn't my responsibility. Please handle it directly. I read it once, then sent it. The silence afterward felt different. Not empty. Final. By morning, my phone was exploding calls, voicemails, messages. Grant, call me immediately. Serena, what did you do? Elise, are you safe? I didn't answer. A photo arrived, men taking the car. Serena on the porch. Grant furious behind her. Another message. We need to talk. At noon. I was at the office. By afternoon. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. By evening. They arrived. Grant first. Serena behind him. Elise last. You embarrassed us. Grant said. No, I replied. I stopped covering consequences that aren't mine. Family helps family, he snapped. Family doesn't send invoices instead of invitations. Silence followed. Then, for the first time, something in him broke, not loudly. Just enough to show he understood I wasn't moving. He left. Serena followed. Shaking. Elise lingered. I'm glad you're safe, she whispered. Then she left. The door clicked shut. Final. That night, I stood by the window. The city below didn't know my history. It only reflected my absence from it. I didn't feel victory. Just space. For the first time. My life wasn't a reaction to someone else's expectations. It was mine. And that was enough. People think letting go is the hardest part. It isn't. The hardest part is realizing how long you were holding something that was never yours. And once you see that, silence stops feeling like absence. It starts sounding like freedom.